So, because it is February 1st, we have ourselves an opportunity to talk about some of the guys in January who made impacts for their NHL teams, both in a positive and negative light. Now, I get it, this video could be seen as a little bit misleading, whatever, but hey, according to some of the numbers, this is the case that we are looking at. So, big shout out over to Smash Bros 13 on the Our Hockey subreddit, who had himself this great post talking about the best and worst of the month of January. Now, just kind of scrolling through the best team of the month. This, by the way, is based off of the data compiled by Hockey Stat Cards, and the metrics that we're using to look at these players are their overall game scores from game to game during the month of January. It's pretty self-explanatory, just take a bunch of the scores, add them all together, and you got guys that are impacting their teams in better ways than not, and based off of what is the best team of the month, you do have a pretty accurate representation of guys that are doing well. I say this because Elias Pettersson, Nathan MacKinnon, and Stuart Skinner were all named 3 stars of the month for the month of January, and they all appear throughout this list in varying capacities because they have been good. However, what I wanted to focus on in this video is the negative, because there also is a compilation of the worst team of the month for January, based off of the guys who had the lowest scores out of their games and just had compiled terrible results. Now, of course, there is an argument to be made why some of these guys are on this list and why others are. David Savard has what I'm pretty sure is going to be a record-breaking minus 21 game score, which is so low compared to everybody else. But there are arguments to rebuttal that. Hey, Savard is a top-pairing defenseman playing against the other team's best lines on a Montreal Canadiens team that isn't really the best either, so him being thrusted into the spotlight against every superstar in the Metro and Atlantic, it's gonna give him some poor results on paper. Okay, that's fine. But I wanted to talk about the worst goaltender in the month of January, and it's right here with a minus 940 game score. You have Igor Shesterkin, who absolutely stunk. And I wanted to go out there and try to explain why. So, before we get into that, let's go back over onto the main Reddit post, because there is a comment or two going out there and discussing what exactly has been going on here. Nothing But Static went out there and said this year's decline of Igor Shesterkin, and slightly to a lesser extent Sorokin, needs to be studied. I think goaltending is on the decline. The analogy I saw on Twitter is that goalies are becoming the running backs of hockey. Now, I don't actually watch football, so I don't know what exactly that means. But Young2KO4 says, as someone who watches both sports and plays hockey and football fantasy, I've been seeing the similarities for a while now. People are even referring to drafting strategies for goalies the same way they do with running backs. 0 running backs, 0 goalies, and yeah, that's kind of the thing, dude. In my fantasy league, I dropped my goalies like 2 weeks after the thing started because they just have not been getting any points, and their overall numbers have not been great either. Shesterkin will either win a Vezina or bury a team and nothing in between. His 2022 numbers were the best hockey had seen in a decade, and now he's on Bad Team of the Month. And Sorokin is the silver medal for both sides, either finishes second in Vezina votes or lets in tons of softies, but he'll have underlying stats just good enough to keep him from being one of the bottom goalies. Kienbox goes out there with a reply asking, what's going on with Igor? I don't get to watch any Rangers games. Is he having a bad year, or is it just defense? Both, this Rangers fan says. Igor's having a bad year, especially this past month, and not making saves that he has made in the past. The defense in front of him is giving up too many grade A high-danger chances as well. More replies says he hasn't been seeing the puck well post-injury, he's been giving up rough goals. Igor is genuinely bad. He's been leaking back-breaking softies for months. I haven't seen him give up very many non-grade A chances. He has a very few weak goals. His issue has been that like almost every single grade A chance goes in, and unfortunately, our team defense is giving up quite a few of those per game this season. And this is an interesting perspective because Igor Shesterkin has been pretty much known over the past few years for being such a clutch and grade A stopping goaltender that nowadays, when you look at his numbers, I mean, last 5 games played, he's got an .870 save percentage. Last 10 games played, he's got an .863 save percentage. That's not good. This season in general, he's dipped below 900. He's at an .899. Now, he's still got a winning record. His goals against is still not the worst thing in the world, but still, For a guy in Igor Shesterkin who's made a living stopping grade A quality chances, stretching out the pads, stretching out the glove, making the impossible stops, to see those impossible stops no longer being made is a pretty big red flag. And if you go over to Igor's overall numbers over the past month, it gets even worse. In the month of January, he's got a total .863 save percentage, and if you go game by game, the inconsistency is crazy. 7.78 save percentage against the Carolina Hurricanes. He let in 6 goals on 27 shots, followed up by a 9.57 against the Blackhawks. Okay, it's the Blackhawks, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Followed by an .800 save percentage against Vancouver, 7.89 against St. Louis, 9.60 against Washington. That was a 2-1 win, 25 shots against, 24 saves. Great game. Followed up by another good game, 9.35 against Seattle, 2 goals against and 31 shots against. Not bad. But then, things just kept on getting worse. 8.40 save percentage against the Vegas Golden Knights, 8.89 against the Anaheim Ducks, 8.64 against San Jose, and then a 7.89 against the Vegas Golden Knights again. 4 goals against on 19 total shots against. This guy has been letting in goals like crazy. He has been leaking. 8.63 save percentage on the month, which is a lot lower than all the other months he has had. His November was pretty good, admittedly. 9.23 save percentage in this month in the 6-game sample that he had, but ever since then, I mean, he hasn't had too many games where he is above 900 or even doing well. He has a bunch of these wins, but they're always balanced out by 700, 800 save percentage performances. And now he's been named the worst goalie for the month of January based off of this result. I mean, a negative 940 game score is absolutely abysmal. You talk about David Savard being bad. Yeah, no, Igor Shesterkin literally was the worst one here. And so my question to New York Rangers fans is there actually hope here? I mean, Igor Shesterkin's making $5.6 million till the end of 2025. 5.6 per year, that is, and when he is like a top-of-the-line number 1 goalie, when he's posting up 9.35 save percentages and 9.29s in the playoffs, when he's doing that, then okay, he's definitely worth it. But now, I mean, look, the inconsistency is there. Do you believe in Shesterkin's ability to bounce back? Do you think it's more so a reflection of the poor defense being played in front of him to allow grade A chances to consistently make their way to the net? Or is this mostly on Igor? We've got a bunch of Rangers fans in the replies going out there and saying, yeah, it's injury issues, he's not seeing the puck well, he's been having a bad year in particular, what's going on here? So my question to you Rangers fans is, do you believe? Do you think there is a reality this season where Igor Shesterkin bounces back and has maybe a 930 month or a 920 month? Or is it going to be this cycle of mediocrity heading into the next few months and maybe even next year? Because that 923 month he had in November, that's the only month he's had that was above a 910. Every other month's 905 in October, 907 in December, and then an 863 in January. He's got a lot of games where he's in the 800, 700 range, and even earlier in the year, I mean, he had 2 700 save percentage games, one against Columbus and one against Nashville. Against the Toronto Maple Leafs in December, he had a 700 game there. And then, as we talked about this month, or last month, I guess, he had 3 700 games. So, what's the deal here? Is there an actual route for Shesterkin to bounce back and recover, and do you think it's going to happen soon? Rangers fans, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Igor Shesterkin being the worst goaltender in the NHL for the month of January. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.